So, what is willpower? What is the right use of willpower? The subject today, we are talking about the right use of will. Welcome to the channel, True Higher Self. I'm your host, Kelly. I'm going to jump right into it. As the energy vibrations you live in move up to a new, higher octave, one of your energy centers is changing dramatically. This is the center of will, W-I-L-L, located at your solar plexus. Humanity is moving away from having its consciousness focused in the center of will and more toward having its consciousness focused in the heart center of love. Now, you live on a planet of free will, and your will is one of the most magnificent and powerful parts of your being. It puts you into form and action. The spiritual energies you're receiving from the higher will. The higher will. Now, in the past, a strong will was needed. Force and aggression assured survival against harsher elements. Now, today, an aggressive, dominant will is no longer necessary for survival. In these times, it's important to use your will in a softer, in a more skillful way. Relying not on force, but on creativity and love and getting things done that way. Now, the main purpose of what we're going to talk about today is understanding how to trust the universe in terms of your will and what's really going on in your life. For example, if you are trying to force things, a lot of times we get into forcing our goals and forcing our agendas and wanting to force certain manifestations because it's not happening fast enough or the way that we would like or the way that we have designed it or the way that we've seen it. So we get into force, what's called force. And certainly there's a place for force. And force can actually be productive in some ways. It can actually get you to a particular end, but just understanding what force is and realizing the effort that you are putting forth, if you will, is not the most economical way as it relates to the universe. There is a way for you to simply relax and attract to you the things that you desire. Now, we've not been taught this, and it seems even illogical to some and lazy to others, but the truth of the matter is that the universe is for us and not against us. So the application of force, someone implies that something out there doesn't want us to succeed, and that's absolutely incorrect. So we must change our paradigm. So trust the universe. Trust that it is working for you and working with you. It's much easier to paddle downstream than it is upstream. And even if you're going downstream, sometimes you don't even have to paddle. You can just go with the flow, which is life. Now, many cultures will teach you that in order to get what you want, you must push very hard. In other words, force. You must be manipulative or aggressive and battle your way through obstacles. This view is based on an underlying assumption, like I said before, that the universe is against you and that you must be, or that it must be conquered. So it's you against the universe. It's you against the world. You probably heard that terminology before. If you use your will as if there's an opposing force, you're actually creating that opposing force. You're creating it where there was none in the beginning. The universe is for you. Start by assuming that this is true. The universe is working for you and with you to assist you in creating your higher good, in achieving your higher goals, in becoming your higher self. Many of you were independent, stubborn, and even rebellious as children. You needed a strong will then because you knew you would be bringing new thoughts and ideas to the world. Fine. Don't make yourself wrong if you had to use a lot of force and will to get things done in the past, for you were doing the best that you knew then. What you know now is your will is much wiser than you think. Your will is much wiser than you think. As you grow spiritually, you will learn to use your magnetic and your wise will rather than your forceful will. So there are different characteristics of your will. A magnetic will, we talked about a little earlier. You can sit back, relax, realize the universe is for you and it is with you, and you can simply draw, magnetize those things come to you. Your wise will, your ability to ask your higher self, what is it that I should be doing today? Should I approach this client? Should I buy this house? Should I lose this weight? Your wise will. And of course, your forceful will, where it's simply an ideology and you're just going to, kind of push it until it fits. A wise will is one that does things with thought, planning, and intuition. It thinks of better ways than force to do things. It thinks of better ways, more productive ways, less energy being expended, less feelings being hurt, less repetition, less redundancy, these sorts of things. Your wise will surveys all the circumstances surrounding the issues and finds effective ways to do things with a minimum of effort. It waits until the time is right to make a move, knowing that it is the time that is the significant portion of the equation. If the time isn't right, then things will take a lot longer and a lot more energy will be expended. You're going to use a lot more energy, and you may not even accomplish your goal. So you've got to wait until the time is right. Your wise will is patient. It knows the things and the time that it takes to accomplish these things. Your wise will is confident. It tries out new solutions. It takes the initiative. It looks for new, better ways to do things. Invoking your wise will is a very pragmatic thing to do. Your wise will is connected to your higher will. And of course, your higher self. So your higher will, your higher purpose, your higher self, all of these are vibrating at much higher levels. And so when we obtain instruction from that higher vibratory level, these instructions are usually a lot more productive, and they're going to put us where we want to be when we want to be there and on the path that we want to travel. And that's really what life is. Moving when the time is right, moving in the right direction, and moving with the right motivation. These are all significant indications that we are operating as our higher selves. Your wise will won't let itself be used against you. See, many times we get into force and we're really creating obstacles for us. We talked about it a little bit before when we have this premonition that, things are going to be tough and we've got to use force and we've got to struggle. Well, there's really, it's this me against the world type thing. Well, that really is made up in your mind. But your mind is the important thing. And you creating these obstacles where before there really was none. Because the universe is for you. The world is for you. Your source is for you. Your higher self is, of course, for you. When your higher self feels it's better for you not to do something, it goes to your wise will and says, create resistance. Stop. Do not carry through with the action. This is your higher self. So when you're not in right timing and you're trying to accomplish something, it's your higher self that is saying, no, this is not going to happen. When it's good for you to do something, you will feel a desire to do it. You'll be drawn to it because it is something you love and not something you are forcing yourself to do. You only stick to those things that you love, and your forceful will only succeed temporarily. Remember that. It only succeeds temporarily in getting you to do things your higher self isn't guiding you to do. Sometimes I think we know we're not supposed to be doing certain things, and it's maybe not the best timing, but because we want to check something off our list or we want to simply get it done, we force it through anyway, or at least we try. So, for example, if you enjoy being slimmer and eating healthier foods you eat while you're dieting, gradually you will be drawn to eat healthier and slimmer and be slimmer because you value and you love these things. not because you're forcing yourself to lose weight because you don't like the way you look in the mirror. Those are two very different motivations. Now, the more you use your forceful will to make yourself do something, the more you can push yourself in the opposite direction, or you may obtain an opposite reaction. So if you're forcing yourself to do something you don't really have a good inner feeling about, a sense about, a discernment about, perhaps it's not the right time. And if you launch out into doing something and you're forcing yourself to do it, you may not be doing it with the best confidence, and you may not be doing it to your best ability. And therefore, you may not achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So let's wait for the right time. Your wise will has your higher interest in mind. Even though a part of you thinks it might be best to do something, if another part of you is resisting, trust that there is a higher reason why you're avoiding this right now. Trust that there's a higher reason. If you aren't accomplishing a goal your intellect has set, rather than forcing yourself to do it, talk to your wise will. Ask yourself, why won't you do what I'm telling you to do? I think we take this piece of our intellect for granted. And having that inner dialogue, that conversation that goes on anyway every day, ask yourself, because there's no one that knows better than you. There's no one that's wiser than you. Your subconscious mind is your connectivity to the universal mind, to Christ consciousness, and it knows all, has access to all. So why not ask it? I'm desirous of this particular goal. Why aren't we achieving it right now? What are we waiting on? Instruct me on the best time to launch out and do this. Where are the tools that I need? Where are the people, the resources that I need? Your wise will guides you to do those things you love to do. And before you decide to do something, get quiet and notice your feelings about it. What does your gut say? Your gut really is that brain, that part of ourselves that we take for granted. You know, if you don't feel good about something, there's an indication. Your emotions, your feelings are a clear indication of where you are spiritually and what's going on in terms of being in alignment, not being in alignment. Is this something good for me or not good for me? When you're around people and you don't feel good about being around those people, that is your intuition trying to tell you probably shouldn't be around these people. Do I really want to do this? Ask yourself before you take action. Do I really want to do this? Does it seem joyful? Is there something else that I could be doing instead of this? More productive, that's going to get me closer to my goal. You can also develop your magnetic will. Now, this is the part that I like. I want you to listen closely. You can also develop your magnetic will. So the magnetism is a powerful force, of course. You can draw what you want to you by allowing it to come rather than forcing it to come. And when you push too hard to get things, you actually repel the things you're seeking. I can think of too many examples that this has been true in my life, where if I just decide to sit still and become the thing that I desire, the thing that I desire comes to me. You've heard it said that it's even biblical that once you begin to really resonate with a thing and you begin to seek the thing and desire the thing, that particular thing also desires you. You're on the same vibratory level, basically. So that really, if we want to call it work, that's really the work for us to do. How do we get onto the vibratory level of the things that we seek, of the relationship, of the health, of the finances, of the career, of the entrepreneurship? Those things are on certain vibratory levels. How do we get to those levels of vibration? Because once we're there, the things will resonate with us and they'll come to us very easily. And the reason why they're not coming to us now, quite honestly, is because we're not vibrating at that level. Now, a great master creates by aligning with the higher will, so that any action taken is right action. The right time, the right thing to actually do, the right intention, etc. He or she then visualizes the desired result and becomes magnetic to that result. What does that sound like? Law of attraction. It sounds like imagination, like Neville Goddard talks. It sounds like visualization. He or she then visualizes the desired result and becomes magnetic to that result. The master patiently waits for the right time to take action, and only takes action when it's appropriate to do so, when it's the right time. Think of something you have been wanting. This is your exercise today as we close out. Think of something that you've been wanting. Are you sending your will out, trying to force it to come? Or if so, you're working too hard. Instead, imagine that you are becoming magnetic to it. Imagine yourself being drawn to it and it to you. You may even want to pretend you are a magnet, drawing it to you. So if it is a particular person for relationship purposes, if it's an automobile, if it's a house, if it is a career, a job, whatever the case may be, pretend that you are a magnet and you're drawing yourself to it and it to you. Create space in your energy and in your life for this thing to come to you. I used the analogy some lessons ago. If you're desirous of a new couch, and I would just, I would clean my living room, wherever I'm going to put the couch, I would vacuum really well and say, okay, in my mind, this is where the couch is going to go. I would begin to put end tables and different things, preparing myself, preparing the room, and indicating to the universe that this is where I clearly intend to put this couch. And then the couch will appear. Create space in your energy and in your life for the things that you want to come into it. Open your heart to receive it. This way, you're drawing things to you with your magnetic will rather than trying to make them come with force. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it today. So this is different between force, your forceful will, and then either your wise will and your magnetic will. What we do here at True Higher Self is promote practices that align us with our higher selves, of course, but also really make our lives fruitful, productive, and enjoyable. The things that we really are here to manifest and to experience, quite honestly, to experience a wonderful, creative, and exciting life of things that we love and desire. So a practice of understanding, the use of your will is very important, because even sometimes we can get caught up into sense perceptions. In other words, you are desirous of a particular thing, and your senses are denying it at the time. It is up to you to continue to create that positive habitual thought pattern of that thing desired. Continue to see it. Continue to think about it. Continue to see yourself driving that car or being in that office or living in that home, even though your senses deny it. And what happens is eventually you will have convinced your subconscious mind. You would have trained your subconscious mind to really believe that this is ours. And your subconscious mind, of course, connected to Christ consciousness in all things, will begin to orchestrate the events, the resources, the people to make this materialize. And that is creation. But sometimes things are not happening fast enough for us. So force comes in to play. So in today's lesson, we're talking about being wise and identifying when we are forcing versus when we are using our wise and our magnetic wills. So guys, please subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. We are uploading new videos every week. And we also have a free download for you. So please take a look in the comments. Thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you again soon.